For more on the Munich shooting, we're joined by Dale McElhattan. He's a senior vice president for government affairs at Amyntor Group. That's an international security firm providing training and security for governments and corporations. He's also the former director of the Office of Hostage Affairs at the U.S. Embassy in Iraq. You just heard Roey go through that litany.
Yes.
All these soft targets. I mean, for a guy in your position and people doing what you do, this is everybody's nightmare, isn't it?
It is, Mike. It's not that long ago that the age of modern terrorism began in Munich.
The Munich massacre. That's
exactly.
Absolutely right.
And as Israel reacted, the world reacted to those deaths of athletes and the tragedy that unfolded in Munich in 1972. And fast forward to 2016, we're looking at a new aspect of terrorism. It's the lone wolf, as this one appears to be. And what is the solution these days? That's what professionals like myself are asking. We've come up with a framework for how we move forward, though.
And what is that framework?
It's really a combination of procedural and technical and physical security measures. A heavy reliance on technology. You just can't throw more bodies at the problem. I think the era of drone covering emergency situations like this, they can get to a scene very quickly and give situational awareness to those that are going to be responding later, is key to getting a handle on these as quickly as possible.
You know, what's interesting, this brings to mind the Westgate shopping mall massacre in Kenya. That was 2013 in Nairobi. 57 deaths, 175 people wounded. So when you look at and any death is a tragedy, but you look at these numbers, and you have a mall where they can move in and out and hide and all of that. The numbers could have been far worse, couldn't they have?
Yes, they could have. And in fact, the entire paradigm of the active shooter phenomenon has been seen in Westlake as well as in Dallas, where the attackers actually using TTPs, tactics, techniques, and procedures, and shoot, move, and communicate procedures similar to what a military person would use. So you see actually some modicum of training or some self-preparation for these horrible events.
It is the 5 years to the day that Anders Breivik had that terrible attack in Norway.
Right.
A lot of people pointing to that. Do you think it's a coincidence or it was coordinated with that in mind?
It's possible. Before we determine the identity of this attacker and what their motive was, as we're going to know in 15 minutes or so from the Munich police what their first assessments are. I don't think there's necessarily a relationship to the Norway shooting, but I think the Bavarian train shooting may have been part and parcel of the inspiration for this attack. That's just a hunch, Mike.
And also, I want to bring up something that I found interesting. Michael Fallon, the defense minister from the UK, was here, as we know, Ash Carter, all of these people meeting here in Washington, D.C. to talk about advances in ISIL. I mean, he was ticking off all the numbers. 40% of the caliphate gone. They're having trouble paying their soldiers. Right. They can't recruit foreign fighters. It used to be that they get stuff up on social media, on the web. Now more stuff is coming down than is going up. It sounds like win-win-win, and yet a lot of people are saying this is the residual effect, that they go after soft targets, that they still get the headlines. Is that how you see it?
Well, I do. I think right now the fracturing of ISIL's geographical boundaries means that the lone wolf, it's almost a cell activation. It is part desperation, but part of what the social media world has done for these attackers around the world is inspire them, whether they're in Southeast Asia or in South America, as we talked about what the Rio Games might be facing. The dark and regular web and those 30 major social media sites still represent a great way for ISIL to activate lone wolves to go out and do these horrendous acts.
And they still end up in the headlines.
Yes, they do. And despite our best efforts to try to track what is going on those 30 and more, using the latest in geofencing technology to figure out who's saying what and how they're saying it with symbols and so forth, remains elusive, but we've made some very positive gains. So.
Dale McElhattan, thanks so much for coming in.
You're welcome, Mike.
Really appreciate it.
If you like what you just saw, follow us on social media and visit our website, cctv-america.com.